crouched down here. I'm gonna wind up walking like a hunched over troll because I bushwhack a lot. I'm a bushwhackist. Welcome to the first in a series of bear medicine. Or not. But bear medicine, it is said that the bear is the wisest of all creatures because the bear knows what roots to dig for, what bark to claw at, to find the medicines that it uses. And so the people would watch the bear, the wisest of all creatures, follow him around, study what may or may not ail that bear, and how the bear went around clawing and digging and scratching to find all these hidden medicines. And in a way, underneath the ground is a hidden world of compounds that do so much. In this case, I am in the region of my raised bed that was going to be a ginseng bed, American ginseng. I believe it is Panax cinquefolia. I'm not sure how you pronounce it because the first letter in that second word, the species, is a Q. However you want to pronounce it, quinquefolia. Very related to Asian ginseng, a different species or subspecies. Well, the group Aurelia acaceae includes the genera Panax and Aurelia, which is American Spikenard, belongs to that, along with our wild sarsaparilla. Pardon me, I keep watching to see if cars are going to come in. It's been one of those days. The genus Aurelia also includes not only Panax, Aurelia racemosa, and Aurelia nudica, which is wild sarsaparilla, which contains many of the same compounds as Aurelia racemosa, the big one. Wild sarsaparilla, maybe it can grow about this tall, has the same form. You can Googleize it to see what it is. But think of this as ginseng's cousin. Ginseng's cousin. As far as propagation, it can grow in complete shade, it can grow in partial shade, it can grow in an area which gets a lot of sun, although it likes semi-shaded, rich soils. It likes water, as do we all, but it can also be very drought tolerant. Now there's a certain benefit to these mighty warriors of the medicinal plant world. There's a benefit when they grow slow, because if they grow slow, they have a greater chance of increasing the medicinal value of the roots. That is exactly why, if you're ginseng shopping, you go for the wild ginseng and not necessarily the cultivated stuff that is fertilized, grows in the best of habitats, grows fast, grows furious, fast and furious, gets big but might not develop the amount of good stuff in it as the wild stuff. Now I took this for my ginseng patch, built a deep, good soil profile for this. But ginseng, American ginseng, is prone, if it's in a cultivated close quarter space, to developing fungal issues, and so it all died. So what did I do? Planted my second favorite plant, which has become my favorite plant because it likes me. This bear medicine. Aurelia racemosa, forget it, American Spikenard. It has a lot of good qualities. In fact, I was reading up on it. I should actually do like a paper on each one of my favorite plants, which is an extensive list, probably about 80 of them. I just read, there's research, there's 4 compounds that are found in it that can actually reverse some forms of liver damage. Now typically, the natives used it for a lot of things. They used it just for a pot herb that you throw in your pot. You know, a salad green. The leaves are actually pretty tasty. Making a syrup out of the sappy root for congestion and coughs. Using it topically for antibacterial nature of it, but also helping to speed the healing. I don't really buy how they used to use poultices of it to help broken bones. you know, I take everything with a grain of salt, as it were. But it's amazing stuff. A tonic plant. You find that a lot of these spicy plants, which this is, it's a very spicy, aromatic type of thing. They add zip to your digestive system, your metabolism. It is a stimulant. I like to eat the berries, and it's about to spring forth with ripe berries. It is a stimulant and just an overall good feeling kind of thing without having the crash of coffee. Now, it's an interesting feature that these plants, the bigger ones that you see here, could be very old. No one really knows how old these can be, but there are reported ginsengs in Asia that are over 200 years old. So, you know, it is within reason to believe that these can live that long, you know, in good circumstances, under good circumstances. And so I am very reluctant to take these big boys and dig them up and use them on the surface. However, what you can do is you can actually, in the fall when they go dormant, just like any bulb plant, like an iris or a daffodil or a tulip or whatever, you can dig them up when they're dormant, and it's no problem. You can have bare roots, not going to kill them. You can actually dig them up, take a section of the root, because it's kind of this Medusa-shaped, heavy root system, rhizome. You can cut them off and put the crown back in the soil, and chances are it'll regrow. You can take this big rhizome, and I've done it. I've split it into two. You can probably split it into more. Plant each one separate. No, they will produce a plant. And so, yes, as much as I don't want to, I am going to harvest some of these. I'm going to dig them up. I'm going to cut off some roots, put the crown back in. They will continue growing. It's an interesting kind of affair, because you see this thick rhizome. It can be 2 inches thick and long, you know, in an old plant. It's a neat way of growing. You have like your rhizome, and it trails off, but let's just think of it as kind of a horizontal thing. And you have a shoot at the end. That one dies in the fall. The next year it goes, and then beyond that is the new shoot. And you can see the scars. You can, if you're very careful, you know, you could figure it out. It's a puzzle. Figure out how old it is just by the number of scars from the stem systems that go up. This one, actually a single plant, has 2 stems. That one has 1. These two, it's funny how it ranges. This one at the end, highly browsed by deer. This one a little less. This one even less. And then those weren't touched down here at the end. I have a good news of announcing that I have baby spikenards. They just decided to propagate over there in the lawn. And so I have been transplanting these things. They're very small. They're tiny little things. And I'll separate the camera from the mount there to show you the size. And let's see what else. A little bit. I like this. And this is a perfect example of a little micro habitat, a small habitat. I've got this little copse of cedar trees in here in very rich soil. And some baby ash trees growing. I'm going to probably clip them back. And a gooseberry. I have a source for gooseberries. Google it. Do the internet search for it. Gooseberries. Porcupine berries, I call them, because they're spiny, and you'd think it would hurt to eat them, but it doesn't. There's a little one there. I'm going to wind up taking the little ash trees out. And in addition to my American spikenard, which I love to forage on the berries, and I eat as much as I want. It doesn't hurt me. I'm going to plant gooseberries in here, so I've got a double whammy. I can forage for gooseberries, and I can forage for the American spikenard berries, which I've been tripping over its scientific name, Racemosa, Aurelia racemosa, in the Aureliaceae family, which again, quiz time. It also includes the genera of Panax, which includes American and the Asian ginseng. Interesting plant. I could make a list of all the good stuff in it, all the active compounds, all the good that it does for us. But if you want to, just look up, and you can either do a search, medicinal value, phytoactive compounds of Aurelia racemosa, and you can get a better grasp of it. It's funny how Google works. If you do American Spikenard, you don't necessarily get the same things. Use a Latin name. Investigate it. I believe there's either 52 or 42 genera within the family Aureliaceae, and a lot of them grow in Asia. A lot of them are medicinal. It's a very, very good group, just like Laminaceae, the mint families, which include salvia and sage. Again, all sages are salvias and all salvias are mint. It is a friend. It is a friend of bears and it's a friend of people. But I enjoy this. Hot out there, not by perhaps your standards. It was about 85 today, somewhat humid, but in its copse of cedar trees, amongst my freshly watered spikenards and my little gooseberry and the ferns that I planted back there, it's a lovely little place. You don't need to have a preserve, a 30-acre preserve or a 1,000-acre preserve to enjoy outdoor time. You can create your own little worlds here. And I love it. I love my little microhabitats just all over the place. That is that. Have a great day and be prepared for the seasick tour. I'm going to disconnect my camera and show you these close up. Oh, there's my finger. There we go. Baby rowan tree. I don't know how it got here. A deer-browsed spikenard, a little less. There's a younger one. That's probably only about 5 years old. May apples. A little false Solomon seal action. A little baby Aurelia, racemosa. Slightly deer-browsed, but let's see here. As I go around here, I'm going to show you how the seeds work. There they are. They're beginning to ripen. And you can see how many, all those little clusters, they are so good. You can put it on your cereal, you can put it in your bannock bread, you can just eat them raw, put them in your oatmeal. You can actually make a lovely tea out of the leaves. Don't always go right to the roots, don't always go right to the berries, but the leaves make a nice tea. Oh, that's some kind of beetle there. There we go. Oh, I was behind these people. They're doing 25 in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Okay, with that, have a good one.